Hi guys, so welcome to our 34th webinar. This one is going to be a little different, not like a usual webinars, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you the reason behind it. So essentially, I like to take the official practice tests, the official questions, especially the medium and the hard ones, in a timed manner, a little serious. Like for example, in case I want to take a full-length practice test, the official one, I would, want to set aside 2.5 hours and then take it as seriously as possible. Now, the reason for that is that I want to create those first impressions, right? It's very easy to evaluate a question properly and then say, hey, it's really simple, isn't it? When you've had a few moments to think about it. But then what in case you're under the time pressure, in case, it's one question after the other, how do you feel about a particular question at that time is what I want to record, right? So that then I can help you guys better. So then, some time ago, I was taking this GMAT official practice test 2, the free one, which comes with their starter kit, which is available to everyone. And I realized that there were a couple of these MSR questions which were, I wouldn't really say hard, but there were some serious takeaways from them. Yeah. So I have been wondering whether I should, discuss it right away or whether I should wait because more people would have taken the practice test by that time. Then I decided let's just, have the webinar. It'll help some people right away. And then it'll help you create a strategy for your further MSR practice, which by the way, can get a little challenging, especially if you're doing well on the test, it can get a little challenging. Yeah. So then that is why we decided that, okay, let's have the webinar right away. So again, let me remind you this, we're going to discuss questions from the GMAT practice test 2, which is free in the starter kit, the official test. So in case you want to take it really seriously later on, for example, to, gauge what level you are at, etc. In case you've not taken before, then if you don't want to see the questions right now, then, you should leave the webinar. In case you've taken the test before or it doesn't really matter, then perfectly fine. Let's discuss, the takeaways from from these MSR questions right now. Yeah. Okay. So I will share my screen with you and we'll start the discussion. All right. Now let me know if it's all visible to you. In case there are any issues, then let me know. Okay, first of all, let's just hide the question wheel. First of all, evaluate it on our own. Yeah. And I don't need this over here. All right. So, so then I think this was the fourth or the fifth question. And, I see an MSR question. And if you've seen our video before of MSR, you know what we do, right? What do we do? That we look at the first tab and we know that that is the introductory tab, right? It'll give you some basic details, etc. And since we don't want to come back to that tab and, normally there is no table, etc. on the first tab. So whatever is the important information, we say you should write it down so that you don't have to flip between the tabs every now and then, right? Okay, so then, what happened when I came to this, I saw this, and of course, since you're under time pressure, you're not thinking too much. You don't, especially it is DI, so you don't want to while away your time because you don't know what you're going to get later, right? So then, I started reading it. So let's read it together. I'll tell you what exactly was going on at that time. Yeah. Okay, so I see that, yeah. In recent years, traffic congestion has become increasingly severe at the intersection of two busy roads, Province Highway and Central Highway. So then, of course, as we usually do, I started making this figure. So I said, all right, so here is your, one and here is the other. Okay. The intersection this lies between Western and Eastburg on Province Highway. So then, look, it makes sense for us to have West in the West, right? Whatever this Western is, I would want to have that in the West, and then the Eastburg in the East. So then, this would be my Province Highway, right? This would be the horizontal one would be the Province Highway, and then between South City and Northville. So then, this would be South, this would be north. I mean, I can just write no NSWE, doesn't matter. I mean, at the time of the exam, I just wrote NS and W, obviously. And so this is my central highway. So I say CH. Yeah. Okay. Now, a spotlight at the intersection controls traffic flow. So, of course, there is a stoplight over here. The stoplight signals operate on a repeated cycle with fixed timing, always directing traffic to flow according to the following order. And then they have given the order. Yeah. They say there are brief gaps in time between each of the following to ensure the traffic has cleared the intersection. So look, at this time, I had this visual picture going on in my mind of an intersection. You know, when you're driving off an intersection, you know, there are these four roads, and then once the light for one has turned green, of course, the traffic is flowing. And then when it turns red, there is probably still some lagging traffic, and then so it'll be a few seconds, you know, that it'll clear the traffic, and then the next light turns green. So essentially, that is what they have given. So then just try to imagine so that you don't have to write down anything in that case, right? So then I know that, you know, there is a few seconds in between when just so that the traffic clears out from the intersection before the traffic from the other side starts flowing. Make sense? Okay. Now, these are they have given us that these are the sequences, right, in which the traffic flows. So first, all and only the traffic traveling straight along Province Highway from both directions. So the Province Highway is my horizontal one, this one. So they are saying that first of all, the traffic flows in this direction and in this direction, in both these directions. So I marked it and I said, okay, this is my one. So this is the first one. Second, all and only the traffic turning left off of Province Highway from both directions. So the traffic is going like this, and then when it turns left, what happens? It essentially is turning like this, right? From off the Province Highway, that means out of the Province Highway. So then it is turning left in this direction, or if the traffic is going in this direction, then it would turn left like this. Make sense? So this is my two. This is the second one. Okay, third, all and only the traffic traveling straight along Central Highway from both directions. So this is my Central Highway. So I said all right. So then this is my three. Fourth, all and only the traffic turning left off of Central Highway from both directions. So the traffic which is going like this on Central Highway, when it turns left, it'll go in this direction. This is the left, right? I'm going like this, and then I'll turn left like this. So then this is my four. And I said, all right, now here also, this is going to be my four, right? Now, fifth, all and only the traffic turning right off of either highway in all directions. Eventually, then, everyone who wants to turn right, they are let go at the same time. So then, you know, if I'm here, for example, and I'm going from south to north, and if I want to turn right on this one, the Province Highway, what do? I go like this. So this happens in the fifth sequence. In the sequence, this is fifth, right? The one who's going like this, when they have to turn right, they are going to turn in this direction like this. So this will be your fifth as well. So basically, everyone is going right. Then that is your fifth number in the sequence. All right. Now, please do realize that all this took a little bit of time, right? You are reading, you're looking at left, you're looking at right, you're looking at, okay. And then after you've read the question a few times, it's fine. But then initially, you're really confused. You know, which was the province one? Was it the west east or was it the north south? North south and west east are intuitive. That's fine. But not the province in the central one. Yeah. Okay. Then, so once this was done, then it was highway planners intend to change the timing of the signals for weekdays so that the length of each signal during the cycle is proportional to the number of vehicles passing through the intersection on a typical weekday morning in the directions controlled by that signal. So essentially what it is saying is that they want to change the length of the signal. Like, for example, is it green for like 30 seconds or for 40 seconds? And that should depend on how many vehicles usually pass through that signal at that time. So that is what they're saying. How they'll do, what they'll do, we don't know as of now. So then this is what the information was. And of course, it took some time to gather it all together on the scratch pad. Okay, so now and you know, with MSR, normally your question will be based on multiple of the tabs, right? So then, of course, you will go and then check out the other tabs also, that what exactly is the information that they're giving us. So then I went to the second one. There we go. Yeah. So then the second tab says the table below shows how long the stoplight signal currently allow traffic flowing along either road to proceed straight along. So this is the current time, like for how long is a light green for on the province highway when I have to take a left turn, or for how long is it straight on the province highway, or for how long is it straight on the central highway, right? So these are the current times. We know what they want to do. They want to change the times and make them proportional to the amount of traffic that is flowing at that time. That's okay. But then currently, these are the times. All right. So then I say, all right, now let me take a look at the thought, because now I understand this tab. There's a table, so I don't really want to write it down. It will waste my time. Fine. I'll go on to the third tab and check that out. And then I came to the third tab, and then I saw this figure. Okay? And this was a little disappointing because I already have the figure over here, right? So there was a takeaway over here in this question. And what was it? That I understand that the first tab, your tab gives you the introduction, and you need to read it to understand exactly what is going on in the other two tabs. But before you spend 2-3 minutes on a tab trying to gather all its information and making your diagrams, you need to check what is there in the other tabs as well. Because the moment I saw this, I realized that my diagram was not required, right? I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't required. Maybe it was. But then, in case I'm looking for reference, where is my north? Where is my which highway? It's all there, right? And so that was the takeaway from here, that when you come across an MSR question, okay, maybe you can, read the first few lines to understand what the question is talking about. But then before you invest any time, you need to check all the three tabs. And this will really be true in the, the more difficult questions. And they will often have tables or figures or flow charts or whatever on two of the tabs, so you will actually not be able to take down their information on your scratch pad, right? It's too much of wasted effort, isn't it? So then essentially our takeaway from here is that we do need to check all the three tabs before we invest any serious time in any one of the tabs taking down the information, right? Just click, just check what the tabs give you, right? All right. So let's take a look at what this tab says as well. The diagram below shows the number of vehicles traveling in various directions through the intersection on a typical weekday morning. White arrows indicate the direction of traffic flow through the intersection on a typical weekday morning. So white arrows, you see these white arrows. Here is a white arrow, here is a white arrow. So essentially it is saying that the traffic is moving from up to down. And if you notice, look, this entire gray bar, there is an arrow shape at the bottom of it as well, right? So it is showing that traffic is moving in this direction. So since it is visible to us, I don't think we'll get confused here, right? Black arrows next to the names of towns indicate the direction from the intersection to the town's name. So it's saying that, okay, here lies Northville, here lies South City, here lies Weston, and here lies Eastburg. Great. Anyway, GMAT will not try to confuse you, by being unreasonable. For example, they'll not say, okay, this is your Northville, this is your South City, this is your Weston. It doesn't make sense. They have given you what is intuitive, right? This is how, we have our directions. Our north is at the top, south at the bottom, west is here, and east is here. So makes sense, right? Now, the number of vehicles traveling from a given direction to the intersection is represented by the gray bar. So we see, they're all gray bars of the different shades of gray, which splits to show how many vehicles turn left, turn right, or continue straight at the intersection. All right, so now we'll not spend too much time over here, but we'll take a look at what kind of information is being given to us. Look at this gray bar, right? I know that, I'm just looking at this one, the one which is going from Eastburg to Weston, right? So I say, all right, so 5,000 vehicles go straight across the intersection. I say that 3,000, follow my arrow, 3,000 turn left from here. And I say 1,240 turn right. Does that make sense? Similarly, for all the others as well. Look at this one going from south to north. I have, this going down straight, this little bit, little one 690 turning left, and this one 2000 turning right. Yeah. All right. So that I've understood this diagram as well. Right. Now, let's go on to the question. And let me bring my scratch pad up as well. This has the information from the first tab. We don't know if it is going to be useful or not, but at least let's just keep it. And let me put down the information from the second tab also, in fact. So that it helps us solve the question. Normally, in actual test, you will not put it down, right? You can just switch between the tabs, but then it will help you solve the question right now. So I have left here, I have right here, and I have straight here. And I have province and I have central. So this is 20, this is 40, this is 60, this is 30, this is 40, and this is 80. Okay? All right, so now we have this information. And let's go on to our third tab. Okay. All right, and this is the information. So now take a minute. I'll give you a minute. Try out this question. See if you can solve it now. If you get the answer, share with me in the Q&A. Okay. Wait. Can you see the question now, Vivek? Is it visible? Do you see the question here? Is it not clear? Mm. Okay, I've shared my screen, so essentially everything should be visible to you. My camera is blocking it. Well, let me remove the clutter. I don't have anything hiding the question. It's right here, right? Based on the information provided, what fraction of the number of vehicles on typical weekday mornings passing through the intersection from Western passes through the intersection during the current 20-second long stoplight signals. Can you tell me what part of the question is getting blocked? Because I don't see any blockage. Guys, anyone else facing a problem? Is there any issue? Well, Vivek, I think people are able to see the question. Can you tell me what part of the question is not visible to you? Is this not visible? Question one, based on the information provided. and then the 5 options. Okay. All right. Great. Great. Yeah. Good, Dan. Very good. Akash. Very good. Ridhima. Good. Okay, let's take a look at it now. Based on the information provided, what fraction of the number of vehicles on typical weekday mornings passing through the intersection from Western? So where is our West? West is here. So from Western, that means we're talking about this block, this gray block, right? Passes through the intersection during the current 20-second long stoplight signal. So which signals were the 20-second long ones? Look at this, 20-second long ones were the ones which turn left on the P highway, right? The province highway. So these were the ones that turn left. So then from here, the ones that turn left, right, from the province highway, which ones are the ones that are turning left? You know, there are different colors of the gray bars, right? Look at this, the very light one, it is coming from Western, that is what is required. So this 2200 is the one which is turning left. So we need to know that what fraction of the number of vehicles turns left. So we know that 2200 turns left, but out of total of how many? So the ones that are going straight are 5,000, 2,200. Yeah. The ones that are going straight are 5,000. And the ones that are turning right are over here. You see this one, this is 2,000. So essentially 5,000 plus 2,000, 7,000, and this 2,200, that is 9,200. So then the fraction will be 2,200 upon 9,200, right? It will be 2,200 upon 9,200, right? And then you will get this is 11 upon 46. So your answer will be 11 upon 46 over here, right? Once we understand the question, it has become a little easier. Does it make sense? Should we go on to the next one? All right. So let's go on to our second question. Take a minute to do this one as well. Dan, one of the answers is incorrect, two are correct. Figure out which one. Yeah, all three are correct. Very good. Vivek, one of them is incorrect, two are correct. Think of one important thing that we discussed, right? I said visualize, right? Why? We need to visualize what happens at an intersection, right? Okay, let's look at the question. For each of the following quantities, select yes if it can be deduced from the information provided, otherwise select no. So whatever information we have been given, if we can deduce it, if it must be true based on what is given to us, then we have to click yes, otherwise it has to be a no. Okay, the number of vehicles passing straight through the intersection on Central Highway, we know our Central Highway is this one from north to south, on a typical weekday morning. So can we find the number of vehicles passing straight through the intersection on Central Highway? Certainly. Look at this bar. This one gives me these 5,000 vehicles passing in this direction on Central Highway. And this dark one over here gives me these 3,000 passing on in this direction, right? So I can find the total number. Of course, I don't have to. I have the information given to me. So my answer over here is going to be yes. 2. Now, the current duration in seconds. So, current duration, right? Currently, the time for which the lights are on. So, fine, that we have been given. This is the table for that, right? In seconds, including gaps. Including gaps. Now, here is the problem. Some of you answered this statement incorrectly. It says including gaps. Now, we don't know for how long the gaps were there, right? We discussed about it that, think about it intuitively. There's an intersection, so there's some traffic going, and now there is a gap in between to let that traffic clear completely, and then the other traffic start, right? We don't know the time of the gap. So then we cannot say the current duration in seconds, including the gaps of one full cycle on the stoplight signal. This we cannot say, right? So this is a no. Look at the third one. The percent of the vehicles passing through the intersection on a typical weekday morning that turn left off of Province Highway from both directions. So what is it asking for? Percent of the vehicles passing through the intersection on a typical that turn left off of Province Highway. So this is my Province Highway, and the ones that turn left, I already know that this 2,200 turns left, and I know that if I'm coming from here, then this one over here 3,000 turns left, right? I see that this is my left, but now and I'll need to add up everything else to get the percent of people who are turning left off of Province Highway. So, you know, the only thing I should do over here is that I should figure out whether I have the figures of everything. Of course, I should not add, it take too much time. But then that can be a trap. And, GMAT does have these kind of traps where, for example, you're going to assume that every figure is there. What if one of the figures is missing? Right? So then that is the reason why once we have to ensure that, from each side, the ones who are turning left, the ones who are going straight, and the ones who are turning right, I have figures for all three on each side. So what I'll do is I'll quickly start from here. I'll say, okay, left I have a figure, straight I have a figure, right I have a figure. Let me start from now. Let me look at this. I have a figure for the left, 690. I have a figure for the straight, and I have a figure for the right. Let me look at here. This one I have a figure for the left, have a figure for the straight, have a figure for the right. Look at this one. So I have a figure for the left, for the straight, and for the right. So now I know that I have figures for everything. So of course I can find the fraction. Do I have to find the fraction? Of course not. But the point is that I can find the fraction, and that is why my answer over here will be yes as well. Right? Any issues? So it will be yes, no, yes. Yeah, I'm just going to erase it to keep it a little clear so that we have space for the next question. Yeah. Let's take our third question based on this. So there you go. I'll give you a couple of minutes. I have the data over here, right? Of the time of the signals, that data is over here. Good. Dan, Akash, Sneha. Yeah, good. Okay. Vivek, think again. Consider your first answer once more. Siddhi, I think you misunderstood the question. Yeah, the answers are not correct. Just okay. Let me discuss it then. For each of the following numbers, select yes if it is the number of vehicles passing through the intersection from one specific direction during the current 40-second signals on a typical weekday morning, according to information. So, where are our 40-second signals? Look at that. We have two 40-second signals. Whenever some vehicle, when there's this, when someone has turned right, then the signal is for 40 seconds, right? Now, right could be off the P highway or off the C highway. It doesn't matter. Mhm. All right. So then I have to say whether 1,000 is the number of vehicles turning to the right from one of the directions. Could be anywhere. And same for 2,000 and same for 3,000. All right. Let me look for vehicles that are turning right, not left, right? Right. Yeah, right. Because we're looking for 40-second signals. So, right. Okay, so look at this. Over here, it is turning right. I see that 2,000 vehicles, right? So then 2,000 is a yes. Certainly, this is possible. So my 2,000 is a yes. What about this? I have here how many are turning right? 1, 2, 4, 0. I don't even have that number. Let me forget about it. Let's go here. From here, 1,000 people are turning right, right? Look, I'm standing over here, right? This one, which is coming from the north. Then people who are turning right, they're looking in front at the intersection. My intersection is here. These people are coming from the north. My intersection is here. So then, when they're looking in front, their right is going to be in this direction, right? So then, the number of vehicles that are turning right is this 1,000. This dark little line, you see the 1,000? So then my 1,000 is also a yes. All right. Then over here, how many vehicles are turning to the right? 2,000 are turning to the right. You see from here to here. So then these are 2,000. So do I have 3,000 vehicles turning right from any direction? I don't. So my 3,000 is going to be a no, right? So I'll have a yes, yes, and a no. Is the confusion clear? Great. Yes, Kirti, it could have been from any direction, of course. Yeah. Good. Okay. Okay, great. Let's check out the next question. Yeah. So, so, okay. So then another thing, which was rather frustrating after going through the entire question and doing all the questions, what is it? I never got to use this entire diagram that I made, right? I said this is one, this is two, this is three, and I was, figuring out the lefts and the rights and stuff, and then I never got to use this. Now, had I seen this diagram, perhaps I wouldn't have made it. Perhaps I would have. I don't really know. But then the point is that first of all, we need to be sure of what is there on every tab before we invest any time in it. And if the data seems to be a lot, like there were it felt like a trap at the end of it. Look, I have been, doing data sufficiency for a long time, TPN. I mean, everything it's okay for me. So it doesn't matter. I made up the time later on. But for any, for most of the test takers who are not doing exceptionally well, they won't be able to make up the time later on, right? So then, we can't afford to lose time, isn't it? And this made me lose a lot of time. So in case the data seems to be quite a lot, like there were these 5, 6 points that you probably shouldn't really write it down. You should just take a look at what it is, go to your questions, and then come back to it if required. Yeah. And this will be especially true on the difficult kind of problems. Yeah. All right. So let's go on to